Hey guys, this is Coach Damon. Now we get a lot of questions from you guys about how to get open without the ball in your hands. We've spent a lot of time working on how to come off of screens, pin downs, and down screens, but still, as a lot of you guys are point guards and you have to get the ball back after you've given them up, and there are times when you're not going to have a screen and you just have to be able to manipulate your defender to do that. So we're going to go over 5 quick ways that you can get open without using a screen. Now number 1 is going to be a V-cut. From the time you were 7 or 8 years old, I'm sure you've probably worked on a V-cut and how to get open, and a lot of guys mess up because they play at one pace where they are sprinting and then sprinting. Now just like we talk about when you've got the ball in your hands, when you V-cut, we want to play to change a pace. So if coach is guarding me and I'm trying to get open from the top of the key, I might not necessarily want to sprint and sprint. I may take him down slowly, and then because he doesn't know when I'm going to explode, then quickly explode back out of that V-cut. Now, anytime that I'm trying to get open without the basketball, I want to attempt to create a closeout. And if I V-cut and catch here, even if it's just 2 or 3 feet, I've created a closeout with coach. And a closeout is the best time for me to attack and for me to make plays. So again, with that V-cut, when I'm down, it doesn't always have to be full speed, but I want to make sure that I make contact. I want to get into his body, and the simplest part is the V. So after I'm into his body, I'm slow to go and I'm in, and then I'm out, and I've created that closeout. Now the second cut we're going to show you is an L cut, where we're going to try to get the ball on the wing in a position to make a play. So this is going to be one where I'm going to start on the block, and just like the name suggests, I'm going to make an L coming right to the elbow. So if coach is guarding me on my inside hip, if I just come off and I round it off to the wing, it's going to be very easy for him to deflect that pass and very easy for him to guard me. But just like we talked about with the V-cut, if I play slow to go, and most importantly, I get into his body, I'm going to be able to separate away and create space in that closeout. So in an L cut, as I'm up the lane line, as I get to the elbow, I want to get into his body with my inside foot. Now as soon as I'm in, I'm not going to turn my back and lose sight of the ball. So I'm going inside foot, I'm going to separate. When I catch, then I've created that closeout. I'm square to the basket. Closeout's the best time to attack. I've created it with contact and slow to go, and I'm in position to make a play. Now our third way to get open, we're going to call a stop cut. And I can use this, I may have come off of a screen, I may have V-cut it, I can actually do it in an L cut, but I'm going to use this in any time when the defender is on my back. Now especially if I'm against somebody who's more athletic, even if I V-cut, he may be athletic enough to recover and still be right on my back. But what I can do is take advantage of his momentum and literally stop. Where if I come here and stop and he runs into my back, if I absorb his momentum, he's going to stop, and then I can separate away, literally doing nothing other than stopping and going. We talked about how off-ball movement can be very similar to having the ball in your hands. And just like with the hesitation, when you stop and go, you freeze the defender. I'm doing the exact same thing here with the stop cut. So again, I may be down in V-cut, and I'm here, I get him on my back, and then I stop, I'm off, and I've created that closeout we're talking about. Now our fourth cut is going to be something that J.J. Redick uses all the time as he comes off of screens, and a lot of times even when he doesn't have a screen set up, and that's going to be a jump cut. Now if coach is guarding me, if I leave my feet and literally jump in the air, defenders naturally become anxious, and they also have no idea which direction I'm going to go. So with the jump cut, as soon as I hit the floor, I'm going to take off in one direction. Now I have to be definitive and I have to be intentional in where I go. If I jump cut and then I freeze against an athletic, against a quick defender, I've already lost. But if I come here, I see the court, and then I take off as soon as I land, similar to a quick jab step, I'm going to have that split second of space, and I'm going to have that split second advantage with which I can make a play. I jump, feet hit the floor, I take off, and then I'm open. Now our last tip for getting open without the ball in your hands is something that I can do with any of the cuts that we've shown you so far. Now you may have seen it without me teaching it. When I was getting into the V-cut, I'm able to use my hands. Now obviously if I V-cut and I push and I extend, then that's going to be an offensive foul. But if I'm able to get into coach's body and with my inside hand to give a push while swimming over top, it's going to be very difficult for the referee to see that. But then at the same time, we've talked about getting into the defender's body and taking his momentum. So if I'm inside hand push, swim move over top, I'm taking his momentum, and more than likely I'm going to create a little bit more extra space. So if we're in that V cut and say he's guarding me on the wing and I'm down, again, slow to go, hand on his hip, and then when I'm here, that little bit of inside hand push and swim may create a split second more advantage. In a game that's all about inches and all about split seconds, that can be everything. As a point guard, you have to find ways to get the ball into your hands. And as you become better and better, a lot of times once you give the ball up, defenses are going to make it very difficult for you to get it back into your hand. But if you play to change of pace, you get into those defenders' bodies, and you work on simple moves that create a lot of space, you're going to have the ball in your hands, and once it's there, that's when it's time for you to make a play.